Hello folks, happy bank holiday and welcome to this week's car news. Let's get straight onto it. So I don't know if you've seen, but there's been a proposal to move MOTs to biannually, so you only need to get an MOT every 24 months. I think this is a stupid idea. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The SMMT have released a statement in response to this, and they've said the industry shares widespread concern over rising prices and the squeeze on household incomes. Safety, however, must always come first, and whilst today's vehicles are more reliable than ever, regular MOTs ensure critical safety components such as brakes and tyres, which wear out as a function of a result of normal operation, are properly inspected and maintained. Stretching MOT intervals will undermine the safety net at a time when vehicle miles driven are increasing. To ensure safety on our roads, drivers, passengers, pedestrians and other road users, inspections and maintenance must be carried out annually following their first presentation in year 3. I completely agree with that statement. The MOT is about making sure a car's roadworthy and it's safe. Once a car gets over 3 years old, I think an annual MOT is more than reasonable. If you disagree with that, let me know in the comments. It's also a mad thing now with classic cars over a certain age where they don't have to have an MOT. I don't know if you know about that, but that seems absolutely bananas to me. Okay, so at the time this video is released, it's bank holiday weekend. It's supposed to be the busiest one for 6 years. I think they said that a few weeks ago, didn't they? It's going to be the busiest one for however many years. RSE estimate that around 16.8 million leisure trips will be made this weekend. So perhaps think about travelling at off-peak times and maybe chuck a couple of bottles of water in the car because you might be in it for a long time. UK car production drops as firms struggle to get parts. This is not really news to us, is it? We know it, but there are going to be some numbers around this. Almost 100,000 fewer cars were built in the first 3 months of 2022 compared to last year. So all those people that are having these constant sort of delays on new vehicles being delivered, pretty much everyone that's ordered a new car in the last few months, unless it was in stock, has probably had their delivery date put back once, twice. And it comes down to this part shortage. You can see the numbers here. During the first 3 months of the year, a total of 207,000 new cars were built in the UK, down from 306,000 the same 3 months of 2021, when the pandemic created added pressures for manufacturers. Manufacturers have been struggling to get hold of the parts they need, in particular semiconductors or computer chips, which are widely used on modern vehicles. Now, someone did mention in the comments a couple of weeks ago that they'd had a call about, it might have been a new Peugeot, but don't quote me on that. And they've been told that, and from memory, I think the lower spec models weren't going to be produced. They were just going for the top spec. And then someone else commented saying that someone had been in touch saying the top spec models were all going to be essentially downgraded so that they didn't have some of the features that need the semiconductor chips. And we'll have to see how this develops, because if the semiconductor crisis is not averted fairly quickly, you might see more companies doing that, just releasing cars with less spec on them, so there's less need for those semiconductors. 1 in 5 UK car sales now battery electric vehicles. EV uptake is on the rise, but SMMT suggests range anxiety is now being replaced with charging anxiety. This one's from Jack Warwick at Autocar. The rise in uptake in electric vehicle ownership is partly due to the number of models now on sale, the total having increased 15-fold over the last 11 years. When you think about it, 11 years ago, what was available? The Leaf, the little BMW i3. There weren't masses of cars, were there? With almost 200 electrified models expected to be available by the end of the year, manufacturers are turning ambitions for zero and ultra-low emissions mobility into a reality, whilst motorists' demand for these vehicles increases month by month. Okay, that leads us on nicely to this one, which is, it's from iNews, so this is the I. Obviously, newspapers have an agenda quite often, but let's just have a look at this. Electric car charger plans delayed by government amid criticism over lack of vision and targets. Vital government plans for building of a national network of public chargers allowing millions of drivers to power electric cars has been delayed, I has learned in an investigation. Councils have also warned of a lack of coherent strategic direction on what to build and where. A report based on a survey of 84 local authorities warned of a lack of coherent strategic direction at a national level. The report, commissioned by the Local Government Association, highlighted that there are currently no targets in place for the delivery of EV charge infrastructure, nor specific powers or duties for local authorities, and that current funding structures are too short-term to allow strategic planning. The need for chargers is growing fast, with as many as 40 million electric vehicles due to be in use in the UK by 2030. The sale of new petrol and diesel models will be banned. However, at least 8 million households have no off-street parking to install their own chargers. I think every story I've mentioned so far has got a quote from Mike Hawes, the chief executive of the SMMT. He said, urgent actions needed to expand our charging network. Consumers will only have confidence to invest in fully electric vehicle if it's easy to recharge as it is to refuel. Right, this one's come from journalists with the best name in the industry, I think, Hilton Holloway. That's a strong name. BMW molds the future of small front-driven combustion cars. Cars like the BMW 1 Series are difficult to electrify and not as lucrative as larger siblings. The next generation of front-wheel drive BMW models is currently under review, according to a source at the company. They're not making enough money from it. They're going to be difficult to electrify, and they may just pull out of making small front-wheel drive cars. Don't know what that means for Mini. I guess they've already got the electric Mini platform. Would that not be adapted for the 1 Series? I mean, the 1 Series is a very popular little car. And and the 2 Series for that matter. Watch this space, I guess. This is from Joe Holding at TopGear. The Polestar 2 has been given more range and power. A few months on from releasing a software upgrade, giving the dual motor Polestar 2 owners the option of a hefty 470 bhp and 0-62 in 4.4 seconds, the company's been fiddling with the specifications once again. Only this time the updates are more sedate. So the single motor version of the car now gets you 69 kilowatt hour battery capacity, up from 64, and the official range now goes up to 295 miles, and they've given you 7 more horsepower. That's the amazing thing with EVs. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea. When you think you park your car on your drive one day, it's got this many miles of range and 0-60 times this, and it's got this much brake horsepower, and the next day they're all 3% better, and you haven't done anything. That's bonkers, isn't it? VW's been toying with the idea of an ID Buzz pickup. Good grief. Previously unseen design study appears on Twitter. This is from TopGear by Greg Potts. I love this. I think that looks great. I don't know if that'll actually go into production or anything, but they did it previously, didn't they? The old, was it the Type 2 camper they did as a pickup? And I think there's a market for that, particularly US. They love a pickup over there. And yeah, that's interesting. Like that. Right, finally, I've now got an Amazon store. So you've got different categories here. You've got tools and gadgets, things I just have knocking around. You maybe saw me pull the dent out of my Volvo XC40 with one of these. Just some jump leads. I got this phone holder recently. Little OBD2 scanner that I used on the BMW. Other bits and bobs of some of my car detailing equipment. For those of you that are interested, links to all my camera equipment. My camera that I'm using now for most of the time and for this video is not actually on here because Amazon don't sell them currently. And some safety equipment and bits and bobs. I'll put a link to it in the video description and pinned as a top comment. Go and have a click through, as always, using any of my links to buy something from Amazon. Even if you click on that link and you go and buy something else from Amazon, it does help support the channel in a very, very minute way, but every little helps, as Tesco say. And thanks to all the people that jumped onto my website, notaguru.co.uk, following last week's video and bought me a coffee. And I got another subscriber as well. So they agreed to buy me a coffee once a month. Thank you very, very much indeed. It really does mean a lot. I've just released the review video for the Genesis G80. If you've never heard of Genesis before, if you're usually an Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Volvo person, go and check that out. You might be surprised. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you're one of the people watching this that's not subscribed, and probably about 70% of you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so. Do this news video 8:30 every Sunday morning and lots of other content throughout the week. I try and release about 4 videos a week. Next week we'll also have the new lease deals of the month video, of course, so keep and peel for that one. Thanks ever so much for watching. Enjoy your bank holiday. Have a great week. See you next time.